And we are back here on the Impact Podcast Studio Series, live at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's 54th Annual Legislative Conference. I am Adia Jordan again, joined by Mr. Anthony Buchanan here at Bob Technology. So our conversation today is going to talk a little bit about AI. It's going to talk a little bit about technology. It's going to talk about building systems and how do you make AI and technology work for you. So I'm going to just ask Anthony to tell me a little bit about himself, and then we'll jump into the conversation about how AI can work for you.
Well, thank you. So I've been in the tech game a little over 20 years. So I've kind of seen what's now here kind of coming as it has evolved, this whole AI movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it because AI opened the door for, our culture in a way that just hasn't existed,
Mm-hmm.
And so for us as a company, we're very adamant about getting more Black people on in technology. That's kind of where our focus point is as a business.
And we've had a number of conversations during the conference about, how people are a little skeptical about AI, skeptical about their data, that the more freedoms that they seem to have, the more it seems to be integrated somewhere else. So can you kind of speak to like, how do you kind of maybe disarm people a little bit about what they need to be using and how AI can work for them?
Well, it's here, right? You could be skeptical, but it's here and it's not going anywhere. I think the better mentality would be to understand it, to do some homework and just try to figure out how to use AI as a tool. How to kind of rethink the whole Google mindset now and figure out how do I use AI to make my business stronger or,
Okay.
just to help me kind of think through challenges I may be dealing with and figuring out my next steps in life. It's just so many different angles you can leverage AI for. And I think a skeptical mentality is probably not the most fruitful way for your future.
Uh-huh.
I think you want to try to understand how can it benefit you and just get more knowledge on the topic of artificial intelligence. Yeah.
So, 20 years is a long time to be doing technology.
Yeah.
You're
I would
aging
like
yourself
to.
and you're aging us both. Okay. But, to that extent of experience, one of the things I'm always curious about is like what made you love technology enough? Was it because it was like, I'm in it and this is like, it seemed to be profitable, it seemed to be lucrative, or this was like, I was a nerd back in college, I was a nerd in high school, I played Tetris, like I was a Tetris fan. But like some people, that's just in it, and they're in it. But some people, they wind up falling into it, and that winds up being the thing that, kind of happens.
I fell into it. So
Okay.
I actually wanted to be a lawyer.
What?
That was my thing.
Okay.
And for the reason, so the richest person I knew, where I'm from, I'm country boy. So the richest person I knew was my uncle, Uncle
Okay.
Dexter. He was a lawyer.
Mm.
And so I said I want to be a lawyer because that's the richest person I know.
Right.
And so when I learned that you didn't have to go to college for like criminal justice, that's how ignorant I was about college.
Mm-hmm.
And you can major in whatever you want. I chose computer information systems as a major.
Okay.
Because I like math, and I was always kind of entrepreneur spirit. And that degree path was focused on business and technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I took my first programming class, I would later learn in life, it just fed a part of my spirit. I'm a result-oriented personality.
Okay.
And so when you code, you get instant results.
Correct.
And so that's how I got in it. However, I was still planning to go to law school. And so I started at Alabama State. I ended up making some dumb decisions and went to FAMU for, to finish up. And man, when I got my first check and my first internship,
that will change your life.
I ain't gonna be no lawyer no more.
Change your life.
I'm gonna stay with this.
I'm gonna stick with this. Yes.
Stick with this. And so that's how I kind of fell into it. And still doing little entrepreneur journeys while working in corporate. I just didn't double down on tech until I say probably about 10 years, 12 years after being in the industry.
Okay.
I saw the light. Like I saw how lucrative it was. I'm making a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
in the corporate space. But when I started my own software firm, I saw, this is a very lucrative industry.
Right.
And so that's how I fell into it. The money and then the way it feeds my spirit, the results I get out of it. Yes.
And a lot of people say that they understand why technology in its own right is like the place to be now, right? Not just because it's the thing to do. It's not just because technology is not ruining, running our lives, but more so because people have short attention spans,
Yes.
and you have to be able to keep up with what's new, right? That's what's happening. Like people are like, oh, I didn't use Twitter before, now you use it, right? So now people have more of adaptive mentality to integrate technology in all aspects of their life, even from the smart kitchen,
Yes.
the smart
Yeah.
TV, all of the technology. So I want to talk a little bit about what does Bob Technologies do, like on a granular level, like when you think about the ideal client, what does that look like?
So we focus on bringing Black tech ownership. So
Mhm.
mostly that's going to be in a Black business owner, right? A Black
Okay.
entrepreneur who just doesn't have technology in their wheelhouse. Most small businesses are not going to have a CTO. They're not going to have a tech team or
Right.
any resources in that capacity. And so we found our place really targeting those businesses who have traction
Mhm.
and understand that their business is at a place where they need to adopt their own systems for
Right.
growth. The third party solutions just aren't working for them anymore.
Right.
And so that's our sweet spot on our customers. Because we build custom software, we can pretty much provide solutions for any industry. We don't have a specific industry of customer.
Okay.
We're industry agnostic, but we do like our clients to have some level of traction, some level of adoption in the marketplace or following for us to attach our name to your business.
So
Yeah.
being like to know that you're agnostic, I'm sure brings a lot of concern, right? You might have some clients who were kind of competitors. Do you ever have that?
I do sometimes.
How do you manage that?
But I mean, they're already have traction in their own space, right? So it's not so much they're competing; it's they're both getting better. It's a community game,
Okay.
right? We want to see everybody win. Once we kind of put our hands on you, we call that a Bob company,
Right. Okay.
and so we like to pair them. We like for them to communicate. What are you doing that's working that I may not be doing?
Got it.
All right. I have a cheesecake company that we're building for, and then we have a pound cake company that we're building for, and we hook them together. Like
they should be
y'all
making pound
talk.
cake, cheesecake.
Or
That's
something.
it.
Let's put us
Something.
a whole party together
Right.
or something. But
Dessert factory.
that's kind of how we look at the journey of what we're doing. It's we call ourselves a social impact company.
Okay.
Because it's bigger than the money side to it. The money is good, it's lucrative, but it's really the ownership that we're focused on.
Okay.
We have to change the mentality of the community to understand if you don't own things, you can't really change things.
Very true.
Right. And so that's what we teach to our partners, and that's kind of the model we live by. Yeah.
So Bob, where's the name from? Just Black owned business? Is
Yeah.
it stand for something else?
Well, so initially it was Let Bob, right? And so we started in more of a finance industry model, fintech.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get more Black people investing in the stock market.
Okay.
Right. But when we started in 2017. It wasn't okay to be a Black CEO of a fintech company that can work, right? So we had like this little avatar created, and his name was Bob. And so like that was the face of the brand initially.
Okay.
And when George Floyd was murdered in 2020, it became okay to publicly, identify as a Black-owned business and,
right.
Show support for Black businesses. And so we've been very much true to that since that tragedy. So that's the history behind the name.
Yeah, because we hear Bob, you don't know what it is. You're just like, okay, Bob Technologies. I don't know. Is that Black-owned business? Is something else? But it's good to know that it's good to know the origin story, right? I think one of the questions I've always been interested in when I talk to tech scientists is what has been the most challenging thing about building that business, and separately, communicating the challenges to other people who were skeptical.
Oh, wow.
Slightly.
Well, it's always challenging, starting your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneering is just going to be a challenge in itself. I'll say the probably the toughest is seeing your counterpart get funded or have success, and you know that your product is just as good, or your business concept is just as good, but merely because you're just not the right, color, it prevents kind of how fast you can get to that next level.
Right. And go ahead, sorry.
No, that I think that's probably been the challenging part, seeing that success so many ways. But in the way that we do business now, we don't need that anymore.
Okay.
So it kind of reduced that energy of, well, we can't get funded. We don't need to be funded anymore.
We don't. I mean, people tend to forget that we used to thrive as our own community.
Yeah.
Black Wall Street did not include anybody else. And I want to talk about that to a degree because the theme for this conference this year is made for this moment.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it is really indicative of where we are for people. We could sit there and wait for somebody else to do stuff, but we are all equipped with God-given talents, right?
Yes.
And social impact is important in this moment because we have to rely on ourselves.
Yes.
So when you hear the theme made for this moment, what does that mean for you?
You have to take advantage of now, right? I learned something maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Under the right circumstance, a chicken can lay an egg a day. Right? And that egg, if not fertilized, is just someone's breakfast. But the chicken put in the work. They're producing the egg daily. It's not until the egg is fertilized by a rooster that egg becomes a legacy.
Right.
And so the person who decides if that egg becomes a legacy is the farmer, not the chicken.
Exactly.
And so you have to decide now which one you want to be, the chicken or the farmer. Work is going to be work. I used to believe that work was the reason you got success, but that's not it. You can work very hard like the chicken and die with no legacy.
Indeed.
Right. And so for us, the time is now to start owning things, especially in this era of AI. It is the opportunity for our culture to leverage it like a bulldozer in the sense of prepare your foundation for growth, or you will be left behind. This is what it is.
And I think even talking to people about just this conference and the significance of it is we're still trying to play catch up in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And so it's content like this, it's conversations that we have are allowing people to see the significance of why we have to work together. We could sit there and talk all day about what we have and the consumerism attached to it, but the ownership part is what's important. One thing I wanted to touch upon is the social responsibility aspect of it all, right? And owning your own business comes with a lot of complications.
Yes.
You deal with people who are the naysayers in the beginning. You have some who are the early adopters, and some people want to see the results first before they support. Like, how has that kind of impacted, or has it played out that way? Like, some people could be really gung-ho, but they think that, I want to see it happen. I want to see it work. You need to make your first million first before I support you. Have you kind of seen that?
Well, I don't really live by that. I'm doing God's work.
Amen.
I was born to do this. God created me to empower. So I don't follow that mentality, but I do hear the naysayers. And that just gives me energy for my journey. I believe that this is the right thing that I'm supposed to be doing. I love it. I love the impact of helping people. And I love what I do in the sense of creating. I'm a creator. And so I enjoy the work. And I get to meet so many different people and doing so much. And so for me, that's kind of how I look at it.
Okay. I want to ask that, we have to close in a second, but I wanted to know, like, how can people find you online? When people are saying, I just saw the podcast, you were on the podcast, Where can people find you online? Is there a website or Instagram or something?
Yeah, we have a couple websites. So you can go to letbob.com. That kind of talks about our social impact agenda.
Okay.
Letbobtechnologies.com. That's going to talk about if you want to be a partner, you need a tech solution, you have an app idea, and you're trying to figure out who you want to partner with to help you achieve your goals.
Mhm.
That's what that site's about. You can find us on Instagram and all other social networks. Find me personally at I am Let Bob, and then the business at We Are Let Bob. We're on
Okay.
LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Okay. So for those of you who are at home who have a mobile app idea, you need to reach out.
Oh yeah.
So what's the next project for you to close?
Oh man. So it's been a good week.
Right.
I've met a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners that just have a technology gap.
Okay.
And so I'm on it. Like my team, we're on it. So once we hear your need, we automatically start those discovery calls and follow-ups to try to find out who are our fit. And then we deliver talent. Yeah.
Okay.
Deliver apps, I'm sorry.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Don't forget to reach out to him at where?
I am Let Bob. You can find me on Instagram.
Okay. Thank you.